Welcome to Ask the Pro. I'm Chris Dufay, and this is where I'm here to give you what's needed to create the online business, the money, and importantly, the freedom that you want. The Ask the Pro show has been upgraded, and it's also got a new home, which is turningproacademy.com. Now, if you go to turningproacademy.com, all the podcast episodes, video episodes, and in-depth articles are there waiting for you right now. Plus, if you go to turningproacademy.com/start here, then you can get access to the free coaching guides. So if you want to know how to double or triple your clients in just a few weeks, or if you want to know how to start and grow your online business, be sure to go to turningproacademy.com/start here to get access to it now. Welcome to Ask the Pro. I'm your host and your coach, Chris Dufay, and this is where I'm going to give you what's needed to create the online business, the money, the freedom, and the life that you want. This episode, I bring on David Godfrey, which I think is both a superb coach, a superb man, and very much leading the way and switched on when it comes to mindset. And we're going to deep dive into this topic, tear it wide open, and give you the insights and, importantly, the action points for you to become better yourself and better with getting the results with your customers and clients. We're going to be delving into how to set up your client relationships properly and dodge some very scary pitfalls we see and that I know that I've done before as well. How to change the mindset when it comes to making changes in the lifestyle and ultimately produce the best results. How taking responsibility is so important and what this really means. How this can then change when dealing with clients when they're face-to-face or whether they're online clients, and how to go about what to do when a client isn't getting results and you know there are roadblocks so you know what to do. Plus, so much more. This is honestly a really important episode. I'm so happy that I can be sharing this, and I'm so happy that you're here with me now. This episode is brought to you by My Body Blend and my favorite, the Superfood Elixir. So if you do want the fuss-free advice, the proven programs, the guides, and the products to transform your body and health, be sure to head on over to mybodyblend.com. Also, if you do want to get the absolute top fitness, physique, health, and wellness, get on over to the My Body Blends podcast show, as I've got new episodes coming for you every single Monday. So click on over now for the My Body Blends podcast. Now, if you are loving this, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out, because I've got a thick lineup of really quality episodes that is going to include getting Dave back on, because there is so much to follow up on. I will admit you are left on a little bit of a cliffhanger from the end of this episode, but you will see why, as it's so important for what we're going to bring for you after. Then, to really get the most out of you being here with me right now, click on over to Chris Dufay, that's Chris, Dufey.com. Right now I've got the free guides and the coaching tutorials, the coaching sessions that are out of the Pro Circle, which is what's creating online trainers and coaches from 6 to even 7 figures. So if you're wondering how do you grow your following, or if you want to be able to sign on new clients, even to double you, triple your clients within just a few months, or you just want to be able to start your online coaching business, then go to chrisdufay.com/start here. This is where I've had specially made the quiz for you to take, so I can take you and I can give you the exact right information, the advice, and the actual steps that you need to go from where you are right now to where you want to go, because I understand you're probably really confused and you're probably really frustrated from following so much of what you've done before, but you haven't seen the results with your business growth. So it's time to change that. It's time to actually start using what's proven to work, and that's where you can start with at chrisdufay.com/start here. Okay, there's enough plugging of myself and getting it all out there. Let's bring Dave on. This is an absolute cracking episode. Get ready to take notes, and I want to hear from you after this episode. The handsome man himself, David, thank you so much for coming on to the Ask the Pro podcast. I'm pumped to have you here, my man, because look, before we've hit record, I've literally written a page of notes of stuff for us to cover here. This is ridiculous. So there's a lot for us to get through, and I think what we're about to delve through and why you're here right now, this is really important stuff, not just from a business owner, not just from an entrepreneur, but for a person wanting to succeed at anything that they want to succeed to. I feel like this is a really common thread for what we're going to do that ties around. But before we start jumping into absolutely everything, Dave, I want to say thank you very much for taking your time. I do appreciate it. I know there's going to be a lot, but even for the listener that doesn't know who David Xavier Godfrey is, Xavier, middle name, you kidding me? How good's that?
Yeah, man. That's from my mother's side. She's French, so she always wanted to get the French angle. In fact, that she wanted to christen me that, and the midwife, because obviously, you know, this is today it would probably go down fine, but back then, 37 years ago, I'm an old man now. The midwife said, "What kind of a name is that?" And a couple of other people said that, and she thought he's going to have this all his life, so they put it as my middle name.
Fair enough. I love it. I'm frothing on it. It's all good. So I tell you what, maybe even before we start jumping into all of this, who are you, Dave, and why are you so phenomenal?
Thanks, man. Well, it's a massive pleasure to be on with you. So my main speciality is in mindsets. I've come from a history of personal mindset coaching. So I've been in the fitness and health industries for 15 years as a personal trainer, as a strength and conditioning coach, and then also as an NLP master practitioner, hypnotherapist and life coach. And I started off purely on the training side of things, spent the first probably 6-7 years of my career just in that. Then I branched out into the mindset stuff, and for a period of time specialized a lot in helping people with illnesses like depression, chronic fatigue, anxiety, and other things similar and related. And then I started meshing the two, because I realized that there was a massive gap in the fitness industry for people who were failing to get the results that they wanted because they weren't able to apply the advice that their coach was giving them. So that's when I started kind of dovetailing the two together.
I think this is really, really important stuff, because especially coming from a coach's point of view, getting results for their clients, the biggest point is, and I feel like where the biggest failing for so many coaches is, they're treating them like a machine, like a robot. Do you know what I mean? And they are a living, breathing human being that has feelings and an ego, and and the thing is, at the end of the day, and correct me if I'm wrong, but the way I see it as well is that your beliefs govern your actions, and your actions govern your results at the end of the day. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you can't just suddenly jump in and say, okay, these are going to be your actions, without tackling what the mindset is, which is what those beliefs are sitting there as well. So how do you feel like trainers can start tackling, or anyone in the health and fitness industry, anyone wanting to do it and helping their clients, how do you think they can start tackling being able to help their clients achieve?
So I think one of the biggest things is that, and we were kind of chit-chatting about this off air, is that so many trainers in the industry want their clients to be almost like perfect S&C clients or athletes. And, you know, if you want your client to be super high motivated, to do everything exactly as you tell them to do it, and almost to the point where you don't need to really encourage them, you just give them their nutrition plan, you train them hard, and they just deliver, then you should probably just go and train athletes and not worry about the mindset side.
I tell you what, that is a really good point, Dave. Really good point. How many coaches do you know only deal with athletes?
2.
Yeah, honestly, I've got a handful. And even when I was talking to John Connor, with him training, do you know what I mean? McGregor, like one of the best UFC fighters in the world, there's still a huge mindset part going onto it. So I find it hilarious how so many coaches are like treating them like they're just a robot machine, treating them like they're an S&C athlete. Guess what? You're training the general pop.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and trainers are getting frustrated when their clients are slipping up, making mistakes, not delivering and stuff. And you've got to recognize that comes with the territory. If you want to be a personal trainer, you've got to bridge that gap between being a sports coach, for want of a better word, and a, I don't want to say life coach, but you have to find ways of getting through to your client, find ways of motivating them, find ways of helping them resolve the issues that are getting in the way of them getting the results that they want. And that doesn't mean that you necessarily need to become a therapist, but it definitely means that you need to improve how you communicate and how you solve the problems and that your clients have, and to recognize that they're not robots.
You brought up something that I wrote down before that I thought was a really good, and then coaches, trainers, whatever you call it, practitioners, therapists, falling into the rut of a rent-a-mate.
Yeah,
expand on that. Expand on that for me for the listener.
Yeah, so you see it so much, especially in commercial gyms where there's PTs around, and you can see them with their clients, and they're having a good chin wag, and they've clearly gotten on the matey side of things, and they're having a good chat, and it's easy for PTs to slip into that rut of their client's always going to consistently show up, they're going to pay the money, so you're getting paid for that hour regardless. And and you know the client's going to show up, and sure, you're not delivering terrible sessions, although obviously you see a lot of that too, but you see guys that delivering reasonable programs, but that you can see that zip and that energy and that passion has slipped out of what it is that the client originally signed up for in the first place. You think back to what brought this client to you in the first place. They had a clear goal, or at least you may have helped them establish a clear goal at the start, something they really wanted to change, and that's what they're paying you for. And you see it so much where these guys are just becoming rent-a-mate, and it's just client shows up, pays the money, and you chat about what you're doing at the weekend. And they forget to deliver on the result. How
can we best avoid that? Because I feel like personally, I've got two hands up. I'll admit I definitely fell in that rut looking back. Like I had, especially both in Sydney and Dubai, I had trainers that are trainers. I had clients. I had clients that came to my wedding. Do you know what I mean? Like they were really close, and I can definitely see that. And there's a really good chance I should probably go back and give them a bit of a refund right now. How can we avoid that? Because obviously there's that line that we want to walk, that is, we want to be personable, we want to be likable, we obviously want to build a good, strong relationship, but you still need to be in that, I don't want to say alpha position, but you want to be in that strong commanding position of getting the job done.
Yeah, definitely. And you need to set up the relationship from the start, and you need to nip it in the bud when it becomes problematic. So this doesn't mean that you can't become good mates with your clients. But what it means is that when they show up to training, it's training time.
Yeah.
So a good analogy would be, how does Conor McGregor show up to his training? He'll be mates with all of his coaches. Yeah. But when it's training time, shit's going to get real.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's time to focus. So you need to establish those boundaries with your client straight away from day one. And it's worth bringing up during the consultation and periodically reminding them throughout your relationship with them, is to say, look, when it's training time, it's training time. We're going to stick to rest periods. I'm going to set the buzzer when it's time to go. It doesn't matter if we're in the middle of a conversation. If you're in the middle of telling me something that you really want to tell me, you shut up, you do your set, and you get on with it.
Yeah.
And we can chat afterwards, or we can catch up another time, whatever. But during training, it's time to deliver, and so that you can, and you'll have to remind them, right? Because they're going to try and cut corners, and we all know how artful some clients can be in extending their rest period, and the rest period is just about to end, and they all of a sudden ask you a really interesting question, and so it's easy to slip into that. So you have to set the boundaries right from the start.
I think a big part as well is obviously being able to help clients get into the best shape, best results that they're coming to you for. Obviously, there's a big change in what has to happen in what they're doing in their lifestyle. How can we start to engineer the process for what we have to do to help that happen? We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back in a split with so much more for you. Now, I know you're listening and tuning in because you know how important your health is and how this can also catapult your business. This is why I'm very happy to say that this podcast is sponsored by My Body Blends and my favorite, the Superfood Elixir, the powerful greens drink. Now, this is designed specially to boost energy, aids detoxification, enhances the ability to burn fat, supports healthy carbohydrate metabolism, and best of all, is voted best tasting greens drink. Now, myself and the My Body Blends team are looking for ambassadors to join. So you and your clients get the health benefits plus adding in a strong income stream for you and your business. The ambassador program, which is by application only, means you get exclusive access to sell My Body Blends products like Superfood Elixir to your clients, plus giving you the special ambassador pricing and bonuses. So once you become an ambassador, you can join the other top health and fitness players that are adding thousands to their week's income. Now, there is only a limited number of ambassadors we are taking on board, as this is a tribe leading the way together. So to apply and to join, go to mybodyblends.com/ambassador or add the checkout code that is Turning Pro, all one word, when you're going to get your own Superfood Elixir to order. Plus, you're going to get free shipping and a bonus to save yourself over $250 instantly. So just use that coupon code Turning Pro in the checkout and you can save over $250 right now, all on mybodyblends.com.
Yeah, that's a great question, and massively loaded. We could talk all day long about this. As we said, our clients are not full-time athletes. They have jobs. They've got all kinds of stresses. They've got a family. They've got relationships, and they need to balance all of that alongside getting the physical goals that they've set that they want to achieve with you. So some people will have all kinds of issues outside of their training that are getting in the way. You know, that they might be super busy, super stressed, have problems and so on that inhibit that, they're not doing their meal prep, or, they're missing meals. They're going for really long periods of time without eating, or they're missing training sessions and so on. They're not sleeping enough. So I think one of the biggest things as a coach is firstly continuously getting feedback. So one of the things that I like to do with most of my clients, except the ones that are completely on it and crushing it and I completely trust, is I get them to send me a food diary, and alongside that I'll get them to send me a sleep diary, and at the start of every single session it's an opportunity to find out what's been going on. So pretty much 5 minutes at the start of every single session. So one of the things that I will do before every single session starts is I will think to myself, because again, it's easy to become a robot with your client shows up and you just crack on with a warm-up straight away. But I stop and I pause and I think to myself, considering the big picture context of this client's goals and what they hired me to do, what's the most useful thing for me to do right now? And it might well be to do the warm-up and crack on with the workout and give them a good hard workout. But there might be times when you think, you know what, this client's not getting the results that I want because of something else. So you've got to figure out, okay, what's the biggest obstacle? What's the biggest bang for your buck change or thing that I can help them with that's going to get them on track? So that means that, that might mean that you have to spend 10, 20 minutes giving them a massive bollocking, or helping to coach them, or, not everybody responds to a bollocking. So you've got to figure out what this person does respond to. Maybe they respond to some empathy or encouragement. Maybe you need to outsource some help to somebody else. But have a proper think of what's going to get this client from A to B, and just think about it. Identify the biggest obstacle. Is this person not sleeping because of something happening at home? Okay, they're not going to get the results until that happens because that's your biggest obstacle. What can you do to help them? And it might not change overnight. It might be a case of you have to accept the way things are for the short term, whilst you help them to fix and change things over the long term. But it's thinking about it. It's not just going in click where robotic, start your warm up, do your movement prep. Okay, bang, workout. Okay, cool. See you on Thursday.
This is a brilliant point that you bring up, Dave, and I think so many coaches really need to grasp this, is they've probably incorrectly set up the expectations of what has to happen, as in what the client expects is every time I rock up, you are going to punish me into the ground, I'm going to crawl out of the gym, and then I'm going to get the results at the end of the day. And if the trainer turns around one time and goes, hey, Suzanne, you look absolutely shit, like what's going on? Do you know what I mean? Like, you can tell they're stressed out, or they're not sleeping, or just something's completely out of whack. You go, hey, we need to sit down, we need to talk about this, there's another means. Maybe let's not absolutely run you into the floor in this session. Maybe let's do a little bit more of a yin focus of it. Do you know what I mean? But I know for sure, because I had those clients and I would have set those expectations up wrong. They would have been like, what's going on? No, I'm expecting like a 6-12-25 workout with some metabolic conditioning at the end. Do you know what I mean? Like, I want to feel a little bit pukey, and that's the incorrect thing to do.
Yeah, exactly. There are going to be times when you make a judgment call and you get it wrong. Might not be the right thing to do, but as long as you always keep your eye on the big picture and the ultimate outcome at the end of it, and you just track and measure and adjust the whole time. And you take your progress measurements, or however it is that you're monitoring progress every 2 weeks, or however frequently it is that you're doing it. If they're making progress, great. If they're not, then you can assess. You can look back and go, okay, what have we done? What have we done together? What have I done, and what has she or he done over the last 2 weeks? Where's the obstacle? Where's the problem? What needs to happen in the next block of 2 weeks?
Perfect.
So that you're measuring and adjusting, as opposed to just going through the motions.
Yeah, no, I think that's really good. I tell you what, how do you help the clients that work with you? How do you get them to find the underlying reason for what's going on, for them not getting the results, or how do you dance that line?
So actually, there's a great case in point. Was I had a client who had showed up. She wanted to get in shape for her wedding, and classic example of somebody that had firstly had really unreasonable expectations as to what was required. She thought she'd show up, do PT a couple of times a week, do her own workouts in her own time, and that would be it. And she'd show up to a wedding, in super slick shape. So, firstly, there was a lot of kind of readjusting her expectations at the start. But for the first 3 weeks, she came in and she just wasn't delivering. I'd set her stuff to do. I'd emphasised what she needed to do to get to where she wanted to go, and she wasn't doing it. So you'll get some clients who go away and they make up their own rules. Yeah. And they will interpret things the way that they want to interpret it, so that they don't have to change, or so that they can keep their existing behaviours. So you have to nip that in the bud quickly and really get onto it. And one of the things that I did with her was pointing up the brick wall that she was heading to. And I think that's one of the key things that you have to be able to do is, as a trainer, ask yourself, honestly, if this client keeps doing exactly what they're doing now, where are they going to be in 6 months' time? Yeah. And then relay that to the clients, because they won't get that. So you have to really point that out to them. You have to point out the journey they're on and the brick wall that they're heading to. And so I basically said to her, look, you are giving up your time to come and see me. You're paying to come and see me. I'm telling you now, you are completely wasting your time and your money. And you are going to get to your wedding looking exactly the same as you do right now. and it came across as a bollocking, and I guess it was. But it was a case of pointing out what she needed to recognise, because she didn't see it. She and a lot of times people don't see it. They can't see the brick wall that they're heading to, so it's up to you to point that out.
I think it's so true. So many people have got their blinkers on, and you know what? It is the position of the coach, the trainer being there. They're probably the person that's going to have to come out and point that out, what's going on.
I think one of the things that helps a lot as well in terms of the trainer's mindset is there's a presupposition in NLP that states that the meaning of the communication is the response you get. So basically what that means is that if you say something to somebody and they, in your eyes, quote, misinterpret it, they haven't. the meaning of the communication is how they responded. So if they respond in a certain way, that's because of what you did and how you delivered the outcome.
I like that.
So basically, it means taking accountability and ownership for the results your client's getting. Because it would have been so easy for me to sit there and go, it's her fault, she's not stepping up, she's just not a very motivated person, she's just one of those pain in the ass clients who's not going to get it. And to, you know, go through the motions of taking her money and taking her through a workout in full knowledge she's not going to get that. Or I could go, you know what, it's my fault that she's not getting the results. I'm going to do whatever it takes to get her there. And, you know, you'll come up with much better and different answers when you come at it from that mindset.
You big bugger, you just took one of the points I wanted to bring up so perfectly. That was so good. And that was taking responsibility as a coach to get results. I'm going to have to take a photo of that. It's hilarious. I even underlined it. I think that's so important because, look, at the end of the day, that's just, I really like that NLP term. I've never heard of that before. That's really good because you have to take responsibility for your clients getting the results. Because I feel so many people want to fall on the crutch on, oh, well, they're just not sticking to the training plan that I've given them, or they're not sticking to the diet that I'm giving them. So, well, why are they not sticking to that plan? Where's the disconnect, and why haven't you filled that gap with what's going on? I think that is brilliant, Dave, with what you've been able to tackle. I tell you what, this could parlay really well over. How do you feel best that a trainer or coach can differentiate with how they're dealing with a client face-to-face and how they're dealing with a client, say, online, where they don't get that face-to-face interaction with them?
Yeah, great question. I think, to be honest, I don't think you can get inside your client's head in the same way online as you can face-to-face. So if you want better results online, I think a much better formula and package is for guys to, not necessarily better, but certainly one that's going to help people that need more coaching, is to offer as part of the package some kind of face-to-face, whether it's Skype or a phone call. Because you know what it's like when you speak to someone face-to-face, you get the body language, you get to pry, and you get to figure out exactly what's going on, because some people will tell you they're doing everything right and they're really, really not, and it's only in speaking to them face to face you can cut through the bullshit, whereas you can't do that online. Now, that being said, I think at times you can actually get better results online, because the type of person that often looks for training online is often somebody who's already very self-motivated anyway. They know they're going to go to the gym on their own, they know they don't have a trainer there, they're already willing to push themselves hard. So a lot of the times, you know, you'll see plenty of trainers advertising their services online, and a lot of their best before and afters are actually online clients that they've literally just given them a program and a nutrition plan, and this person's highly motivated. They've gone away and done it themselves. So I think the mark of a great trainer isn't the best transformation that you've had. It's who can take somebody who's a problem case and turn it around.
Totally. No, that's a really good point, because especially where I see this and where I see so many trainers go wrong is when they're trying to simply just use the same skills or same setup that they've done with the face-to-face clients, and then when they try and transition that exact same system into the online world, there's a massive disconnect. But it's a really good point. The way I've worded this before is client satisfaction starts with your client acquisition. So when it's the type of client that you're bringing on board that's going to determine if you're going to be able to actually satisfy them. And that's exactly what you said, because usually the people that are looking for online training, they've done it before. They've got the experience. They know what's going on. They're simply just looking for, give me the plan, I will follow it to the T. So they're definitely more of that robot scenario. But obviously I find as well, it's so important, especially for high level training, you need to have an application process. Like, I just feel like you need to get on at least a Skype, at least a phone call, talk to them, feel out where they're at, feel out what their beliefs are, feel out, do you know what I mean, how motivated they are. I've done it tons of times, both with physique and with business clients, and I've just went like, you know what, you're not ready. Like, your cup is too full. If I try and pour more into your cup, it's just going to spill out. Do you know what I mean? I don't think this is going to work.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. That's a great point. And that's so Rachel Guy and myself, we have an online high-end program for females where we help them to primarily get a body transformation, but we're dealing with women who have struggled for prolonged periods of time, either with things like binge eating and emotional eating, or perhaps high stress and anxiety. They might be professional women who work super hard, or they might be busy mums that on face value seem to have it all, but are still feeling unhappy and unfulfilled. And so a lot of these people are looking for getting a body transformation, but ultimately their problems lie in other areas of their life. They're unhappy, they're stressed, they're depressed, they've got destructive patterns of thought and behavior, they're binge eating or whatever it is. So we help them to get the transformations that we help them basically to get both an internal and an external transformation. Now, this is a big invitation only high-end program, and it's by application only, and for the very reason that people need to be ready for that kind of thing. And obviously that becomes a bigger deal when you're dealing with stuff like that, where you're dealing with completely turning around somebody's experience of life and their life itself. So somebody needs to be ready to step up to do the work. And we've turned away plenty of people who just aren't ready. They're not ready to do the work, and they're only like a 7 or 8 out of 10 in terms of commitment. But that obviously applies to other areas of the fitness industry, exactly as you just said. Even if somebody's just purely coming to you for an online transformation package, you still, as you said, you still want to get the right client. Like you need to get that person who is going to be completely self-motivated and self-driven, because for an online program, you're not there. So if they're not going to do that, then you have to weed out the people that aren't going to do it, because it's going to be a waste of time.
Yep.
And it's going to affect your results and your job satisfaction.
100%. I tell you what, before we wrap this up, what is one of your biggest pet peeves when it comes to mindset, beliefs, and being able, and what people are falling prey to? Like, what do you find that's kind of constantly being regurgitated out there that you're just like, no, that's not right, this is the way it needs to be?
Do you mean in terms of advice people are giving in terms of mindset?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, right. Definitely the types of advice, because then we can take that on board. Yeah,
right. Okay. I think one of the ones, there's a few, but one of the ones that is not incorrect but massively incomplete is the advice that, you just don't want it enough.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are, I guess, ignorant to the deeper levels of motivation. And yes, of course, you need to want it enough. You need to have a goal that genuinely and thoroughly excites you. But somebody might well have a goal that genuinely and really and thoroughly excites them, and that they really, really want. And when they're with you and they're training with you, they are totally excited about it. They really want it. But then when it's the end of a really long, tiring, stressful day, shit's hit the fan, everything's gone wrong, and it's time for them, it's late at night, it's time for them to do their meal prep late in the evening. Now all of a sudden a whole different motivation pops up. So motivation is more, it's a moment-to-moment thing. So in order to get a long-term result out of anyone, whether it's a physical transformation or anything else, it's the consistency of behavior that matters. So what we need to do is we need to make sure that all of the areas of their life are aligned, and that the motivational forces at play come up when it matters most, in those times when they don't want to do it.
Yeah.
So you may well be super motivated when you're at the gym, when you're talking about nutrition with your friends.
Yeah.
But what about when it is at the end of a day like that?
Yeah, when it's 9 o'clock and it's the end of the day, you're feeling stressed, you're tired, and your hand goes in the cookie jar.
Exactly, yeah. Now you're super motivated just to relax and recover and unwind. And you'll tell yourself all kinds of stories as to why that's appropriate. And so we need to learn ways to keep our clients on track during those times. I think that's probably
that is totally unreal. And because we are going to be recording another episode that will be more on the fitness side, and that's exactly what we want to cover. Like, that just That's the cliffhanger that we're going to leave you with, because that's just absolutely perfect. Okay, no, that is so good. We've covered so many important things. We've got so much more that we can cover in the next episode as well that we can do. Dave, this is really, really good. Okay, where does the listener go right now to get more of what's going on?
So one of three places. Currently got my website being built at the moment, so quite when it will be ready, hopefully in the next couple of weeks. That's davids-godfrey.com. Then because Rachel and I, for those that don't know, Rachel Guy is my fiance, getting married later this year, and we do loads of work in collaboration together. We pretty much do everything together now. So we cross-refer and promote each other's work, obviously, as well as doing work together. So you can always follow her, so she's got athleticfox.com and athleticfoxblueprint.com, and she'll be promoting any of the stuff that I do. So when it comes to doing my mindset seminars for trainers, the general population seminars, etc., she'll be promoting all of that anyway.
Beautiful.
And then we've got the program that Rachel and I do together, called Chase Life. So the application page for that is joinchaselife.com.
All right, excellent. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pop all those links into the show notes so everyone can click on over straight away. Dave, muchas gracias. Really enjoy that. Seriously, this is really good. I cannot wait to do the next one and be able to combine these ones. I think this is so good.
Yeah.
Now, really importantly for the listener, what we need you to do is we need you to get to the site. We need you to get in contact. What more do you want more from Dave? What do you want us to answer? Because we're going to be delving into that very soon in the next episode to answer everything. Dave, massive thank you. Seriously, really grateful and can't wait
Legend,
to do the next
huge
one.
pleasure. Awesome. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much for being here, and if you've liked this episode, please share it out and make sure that you are subscribed so you don't miss out. Now, to really get the most out of you being here, go to turningproacademy.com/start here. There you can get access to the free coaching guide. So if you want to know how to double or triple your clients in just a few weeks, or if you want to start and grow your online business, be sure to head on over to turningproacademy.com/start here to get free access to it now. And as always, I'm so thankful for you being here, and I'm really looking forward to you joining next week in the new episode.